to start off, this video is going to be about making a thruster-powered car, or more a thruster-powered engine that powers the car. Now, this was going to be the plan for quite a bit. Instead, it didn't really work out, so I decided to see if I could make the fastest piston car I could. Now, I don't think I got the fastest, but it was pretty fast for a piston car. So anyway, here's my first thruster engine design, and it's pretty average. It was meant to have basically throttle. Now, you could switch between the throttle by switching between the angle that the sensors are at, which sounds a bit weird, but the whole point was that when you turned the sensors, they would turn the thrust on for less amount of time, which would basically mean that they would rotate less, or, well, have less power. But it didn't really work, so that kind of went down the drain. I made this 4 pistons thruster engine, and it worked okay. Now, the problem is there was one Achilles heel to this whole plan. They just don't produce much torque in the engine, and that's a massive problem, so you need a lot of torque to actually, well, power a car. But it was going pretty well, at least for a while, and it was actually looking okay. But yeah, it didn't really end up working. One of the other important parts of the car was the clutch, and it didn't really work. Now, you can just make it you can just jam 2 interlocking things together to make a clutch. But I much rather do a whole realistic clutch idea, but it didn't really work. As normally a clutch, you just rub 2 things together and one turns and the other one starts turning. It's a bad explanation, but that's around how it works. So this is the first thruster-powered car I made, and the last in this video, as it did not work. So then I started on piston engines, as now we're going to start making the piston-powered car. But before that, I'm going to explain why I've basically been gone. So I've been gone for around 3 months, I think, just not uploading to YouTube. Now that's mostly just I just kind of got bored of uploading to YouTube. Lots of my video ideas, well, especially my latest ones, just became really boring for me to actually film, as I kind of just ran out of ideas and didn't really have any more. So lots of the videos I just didn't like filming or editing, and it was pretty bad, so I basically just stopped uploading for a bit. But yeah, now I'm back and I'm probably going to be uploading a bit more. I don't know if I'll upload on the same schedule I did before. I might just upload when I can, as that'd be a lot better, as I can make a lot of high quality videos and more high quality scrap creations. Anyway, let's get back into this. So this is my first piston engine. Now, it looks okay, except it's making a lot of sound, but the main problem is that this thing isn't very consistent. It moves around in like bursts, which isn't going to be very good. We'll stick with it for now. At least that's what I thought at the moment. If you slow it down, then it doesn't go that quick at all, and it's, oh well, obviously, and it also produces very little torque. And it's more consistent though, which is slightly better. Not the best, but slightly. It's a car that's powered by this piston engine. As you can see, it's okay as a first design. It's not the best, but it's okay. It's going quite slowly though, and that's mostly because we're kind of limited by the engine. Now, this thing I don't think is even faster than us walking, but the good thing about it is that it has a gear ratio, which basically means that the output shaft spins twice as fast as a normal engine, or it should anyway, but the problem is that puts more stress on the engine, causing it to slow down, so it's not the best. But as you can see, it kind of works. It's slightly faster than the player, not much, but slightly. So it's good progress. Now this is the whole thing. Now I thought I was going to make a proper car out of this. I didn't in the end. But this, as you can see, there's a clutch with the piston, and then there's also, well, there's a clutch with the piston that extends. If you don't extend that, then obviously it'll just not spin. And there's also a reverse and forwards switch, which is switch between reverse and forwards. Now that was pretty simple, but I didn't end up doing with this, as gears in Scrap Mechanic just suck. Like using cogs or gears, it just never works, because they just slip, as they're not a proper thing in Scrap Mechanic. So yeah, I didn't really end up using that. But then there's this car, which is slightly better. It still uses the same engine, but it's quite fast, and also looks okay. Now obviously, the main thing slowing down is the engine, as we can't make it really go fast. It doesn't really go much faster, as it's just a very inconsistent engine. But we do get over some of these problems later on in the video. Very suddenly at least, as, yeah, I forgot to record quite a bit of stuff. But anyway, I dolled up the engine to try and make it a bit more consistent. I don't think it even helped at all, really. I think it made it way worse. It probably just made the game laggier, and also just didn't do anything. So now I started on my new engine. This one is going to be slightly different, but I think the problem last time was I was using multiple sensors and there's a slight gap in between them where they don't really sense anything, which just leads to that inconsistency. But you can see this is very consistent, which is actually going to be pretty good for our engine. Now it's not the most right now, and I think that's mainly the problem since, well, I might add some more, well, pistons, so that will help. This is also my piston car, which I made quite a long time ago, and I've basically just taken the design from this. But there was some things I was going to change in my car. Now the main problem is I'm going to have 4 pistons, mostly for it to be, well, smoother and also more powerful, which should turn out to be very helpful for later on in the video when I actually did start doing stuff with this engine. Now, although at the moment there are some problems that I couldn't exactly see right now, which basically made this design not work. But I still kept with it for a bit as I didn't realise why, and I thought I could get it working. And I tried it quite a bit until I put it on a car and realised that it didn't work. As you can see, the main problem is that of course the gears don't work. I might have made a bit of a sketchy gear ratio that didn't work the best, and didn't exactly spin very well, or spin too fast. And also the engine in general wasn't a very good engine. For example, a main problem with thruster engines as well is that they can spin either way. So I made a new car obviously and a new engine. Now this engine can only spin one way, which is a massive advantage, which means it'll only try to spin one way and won't waste time trying to spin the other way, and it's generally better. So when it encounters resistance, it won't try and spin the other way instead. So yeah, I also downloaded the Legends mod and put it on the world to just use their speedometers. It's quite a good mod for this stuff, and it generally will become helpful. It also becomes helpful later on in the video. But I just want to see how fast we can go. Now the funny thing is, due to this speedometer, you can run around 20 kilometers an hour in Scrap Mechanic for a very long time, which seems a bit unrealistic, but well. As you can see, we're going around 40 kilometers an hour, or around our lowest 37 kilometers an hour, and our top speed is 41 kilometers an hour, which isn't bad at all. So yeah, the speedometer works surprisingly well, and this thing actually went quite fast. Not really fast, and we're not going to break that speed by much. It's actually quite hard to get pistons to go quickly. But this was the end result, using the same engine, which I used 4 of for some reason. Well, obviously to get more power. I also used custom wheels I made. Now the thing is, getting the axle to actually spin faster is a pain. So instead of that, we'll spin at the same speed, but bigger wheels. Big wheels mean you're basically turning more surface area, or in general, if you're turning them at the same speed as smaller wheels, then you'll generally go quicker further. Now that wasn't a very good explanation, but bigger wheels means more surface area, so if you spin them the same amount, then you'll go further because you're moving more land, kind of. It's not really like that, but as you can see, it's actually pretty good at climbing hills as well. Now, the custom wheels are surprisingly good at this. I did try some other wheels later on, and it did not work so well. I also used them because this thing has no ground clearance, because I kind of rotated the engine, so it had no ground clearance. So then I tried with these wheels. These wheels are from the Legends mod pack or whatever, I don't remember what it's called. And they're basically just normal wheels, just retextured and bigger. Now, I always wanted to see what the difference would be, and we're reaching 60 kilometers an hour, a 20 kilometer an hour increase, and we can reach 70 sometimes, which is pretty good. So, yeah, this thing is not the best, and also, there's a big problem making a piston power thing, but I think he might have used slightly too much engines. I think he probably could have just got away with 2 and it would have been the same, and probably better if we've not moved so much weight. But anyway, I was trying to go off this ramp, and in this ramp I actually noticed one crucial thing. We're turning in midair. We'll get a bit more into that in a minute, but we are turning a lot as well. And now, this isn't really a problem, and I also want to test out how good this hill climbing thing was. Well, how good this was at hill climbing, and with these wheels it was not very good at all. So yeah, custom wheels are surprisingly good at hill climbing if you're making a hill climber. But as you can see, now I don't currently have the engine on, just some of the pistons glitching out. But if I do turn the engine on, as you can see, it just starts turning. Eventually the pistons figure themselves out, and it just starts turning loads. Well, that is an insane amount. But also makes me quite interesting as you could use this for something technically. But anyway. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll probably be uploading soon again. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.